SHTF Prep Guy, and the first of what should be a series of informative videos on things to do if the shit hits the fan, SHTF. More importantly, things you can do before things get bad. Whether you want to call it SHTF, obviously, you know what that means. WROL, without rule of law. TEOTWAKI, the end of the world as we know it, or numerous other, things you want to go by. Basically, if our civilization were to have complete infrastructure collapse, and we had to go back to doing things without the advantages of electricity, without the advantages of running water, without the advantages of being able to pick up the phone and dial the local police if we have a problem, or dial the fire department. That's what we're going to talk about here. One thing you should know is that this, and any of my videos, and any videos out on YouTube or that you might watch that have to deal with this topic, crap hits the fan, what should you do? A lot of things that are discussed are things that are inappropriate in our normal day-to-day life in a pre-SHTF environment. Whether it would be carrying a weapon concealed, whether it would be, a lot of things. It's illegal to camp in a tent in a state park without a camping permit usually. This stuff will get you thrown in jail. It should. Nobody that I know of, in a community of preppers, would ever advocate breaking laws, especially not breaking laws when there's no reason to do so. Things in my videos all deal with what to do when there is an absence of the rule of law, when civilization is broken down, when the infrastructure is broken down, and you can't call 911 and get the police come assist you if you feel threatened. That's what we're dealing with. Okay, now we have that disclaimer out of the way. Events that could trigger a SHTF situation. Could be natural events, earthquake, tornado, flood, you name it. Anything that could trigger a power outage that would affect a radius of greater than 300 miles for more than 3 weeks. The reason I put those in there, 300 miles is about the distance that most vehicles can drive before needing refilled. Therefore, if 300 miles any direction from you, the power is still out, you're not going to be able to drive out of it, and help generally won't be able to drive in. Without power, gas stations don't work. Without power, grocery stores can't open for liability reasons. Without power, so many things just don't work in our society. Even if you have an employer that's willing to pay you to sit at home while the company doesn't have power, they might not have the HR department and the payroll department to be able to pay you. And even if they could cut you a check, it probably wouldn't be nowadays. Normally most people get direct deposit. Well, when the power's out, the ATMs don't work. When the power's out, the banks aren't open. Even if you have money in the bank, you can't really get to it. And it also brings up really serious questions of what happens, after the second paycheck the police and the firemen don't get. Are they still showing up to work after they can't get paid? Possibly risking their lives. Because if the stores are closed, people are getting hungry. People are going to be going house to house looking for food and possibly taking food from other people if they're hungry, especially if they have children. So, are you going to risk your life, fighting violent mobs if you're not even getting paid? Something to think about. Power outages would be a bigger deal now than they would be at any point in our history. Even during the Great Depression, which was an economic collapse, also a possibility. In general, people without a lot of financial means, they did not have electricity to their house. They probably didn't have the power company supplying gas, natural gas service to their house. They generally had homes with wood or coal stoves that were properly vented. People don't have that nowadays. You try to start a fire to cook from in your apartment, and there's going to be a problem, especially if the fire department can't get to you, or you can't make the call and have them respond. That's a big difference in the way that people live now compared to the way that people lived, in 1929 when the Great Depression hit this country. And I think that would make things a lot worse. People just aren't very prepared in general. Most people keep, their cupboards pretty bare by the time they go to the grocery store at the end of the week, instead of, keeping a 2, 3, 4 week, rotating supply. And that's a shame, but most people just aren't prepared. Other things that could cause a world without law or shit hit the fan situation: a military coup by another nation. Sounds crazy, but how many times in the 20th century has it happened? Fulfillment of religious or biblical prophecies, regardless of which book you ascribe to. Whether the Christians rapture, millions of Christians disappear overnight, or, floods, famine, that sort of thing. Could be a one world government, other things, kind of along those lines of a one world government, new world order, would be a state or a federal government deciding that the United States Constitution is no longer in effect, and that the constitutional protections of civil rights do not any longer apply to American citizens. Those type of things would be indicative of a complete infrastructure breakdown. Only in those type of situations would a lot of the things in my videos and other people's videos dealing on this topic be appropriate. Otherwise, they would be unethical, immoral, just plain wrong, and they would and probably should get you thrown in jail. We're talking, things that you might have to do if there is no help, and things that you might have to do to protect your life or the life of your loved one, when you can't dial 911 for help. Simple as that. In the videos, we'll be discussing things like bugging in versus bugging out, when to stay, when to go, and what kind of criteria kind of help you make that decision. There's a lot of factors that play into it. When you go, do you go by vehicle? Do you go by foot? What type of vehicle should you go in? What type of clothing should you wear? How do you defend yourself? One of my next videos is going to be on protecting yourself and a mindset that is necessary if you're going to be effective defending yourself and your family. Just remember, please, that things in a lot of these videos deal with, survival in the worst of situations. Well, until the shit actually does hit the fan, these are inappropriate for our current situation. This video has been a little boring. Big disclaimer, one of the ones to follow, but we will get into a lot of fun stuff. We're going to be dealing with, things that you need to have if things break down, and lots of other cool toys too. So a lot of videos are going to deal with gear. A lot of videos are going to deal with protecting yourself. A lot of videos are going to deal with just basic concepts, things you can do to prepare nowadays, along with things that you can do once things, or if things do get bad. So I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you for watching. I really thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Thank you much. Bye-bye.